Hello, it is Friday, August 22nd. We're kicking the show off with some headlines with what we call long balls, leading the way with long ball number one. MLS's summer transfer window was chock full of action, and the deadline day proved to throw some zingers out there, some unexpected moves. We got Americans coming to Colorado, but we'll get to Mr. Aronson later on. The thing that really surprised me, and it seems to surprise a lot of people last night, Brenner back to Cincinnati. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, it's a good question. We all saw it from Tom Bogert because Scoops has the scoops over there. I know people were participating in the live show that Soccer Wise did around the deadline, and
he had all 51 flavors of scoop.
Also, is that how many flavors there are? 51? I thought it was 30 something. Are we doing Baskin Robbins? Is that what this is? Okay, anyway. Yeah, Brenner coming back to Cincinnati. 25-year-old Brazilian coming back to Cincinnati. They sold him to Udinese for $11 million back in July of 2023. He was acquired from Sao Paulo for a record fee before that in 2021. I mean, Cincinnati's gone through several different eras since they got good. Remember how bad they were to start Major League Soccer?
It's a distant memory of them being like the wooden spooners there.
And now they are just out here doing absolute work. It's kind of crazy how much business Chris Albright is doing right now. I think in terms of like where they'll be in the winter, they're going to be even better with some money coming off their books. They're going to be in a position to go spend more money this winter, but you got Denke, you got Brenner, you got Evander. I don't know. There might not be a better front three in Major League Soccer right now, Rob. I mean, we could talk. I have to go through the mental knowledge base to pull one up, and maybe the chat has one. But that is a murderer's row of talent that they're going to throw at MLS for the rest of the regular season and into the playoffs.
What's the word for someone who's incredibly good at working complicated mechanisms? Because for all the the news of or the facts of MLS transfers being complicated, they sure were able to work through all those hoops this year to get the murderer's row, like you call it. It's pretty spectacular. You got a tip of the hat to them.
Well, I mean, obviously you got to. It's about working the budget, right? Working within the MLS rules. Who has rights to a player has been a thing we've been talking about with, of course, Thomas Mueller to Vancouver. Of course, Cincinnati had Thomas Mueller's rights and got something from Vancouver for this. I mean, yeah, this is a little bit more than like technical expertise. Like somebody who really understands complicated systems. I think Nate's right. This is more like magic. This is like Chris Albright is a wizard. Like he's leveled up to whatever. I don't play those games. I don't really know how they work, but he's a wizard of some type. He's a mage. Isn't that a thing? That's a thing, right?
I've had to learn D&D from my kids getting into it, but I'm not well versed enough to know who the dungeon master is in that world. Yeah. But look, he's definitely working that magic.
A couple of other moves. So they also added Dominic Marshuk from RSL, who's going to play wing back for them. He's a wing player, but he's going to play wing back for them. Yes, Rob.
Question from the class here, Mr. Davis. Is there many inter-MLS loans? Because the Polish winger who came in, do they do a lot of loans within the MLS?
There are some interleague loans happening. In fact, I think one of those deals that went down just ahead of the deadline was Nashville making their move for Jonathan Perez, who was on loan from the Galaxy. They made that deal permanent. So he is now a permanently a member of Nashville SC rather than being on loan. 29 appearances for Nashville after joining on loan last year. So, that can happen. There is that. Interesting that Minnesota, you're talking about things that did not happen. Minnesota United turned down an $8 million bid for Joaquin Pereira from Trabzonspor in Turkey. And they also have brought in a couple of attacking players as part of this window. So yeah, again, MLS teams are getting just more busy, right? Not every MLS team is doing work. Some MLS teams have done zero. But it does seem like the most ambitious teams are getting a little bit more aggressive in how they're making this work. And again, remember, this is part of the reason we talk about the calendar switch, because while it's great that MLS is fully engaged in the market, there are what, 9 MLS regular season matches left on the calendar? Like the bottom end of the table aren't going to do any work because they're already done. Their season's already cooked. There's no point in spending any money or doing anything, and that's going to frustrate some people, right? But like Sporting Kansas City fans, I know that they were hoping for it. Didn't happen. No big moves in the summer. Sometimes the DPs arrive. Obviously, the Thomas Mullers and the Suns arrive in the summer. But if you're already most of the way through your regular season and you have no hope of doing anything, why are you going to do any business on the deadline? So if we get the calendar switched and those windows are lined up, how busy could MLS teams be? I think is something to consider here. It could be very interesting. Andrew Moran joins LAFC from Brighton on a loan. That deal got done. St. Louis City shipped out Jean De Silva, formerly of Atlanta United. So he's got DeAndre Yedlin went from Cincinnati to RSL. Seemed very happy about that. I'm not sure what that's all about, but they got younger at that position, so maybe they're good.
This is a little bit of a tangent, but did you see Xande Silva commented on another Atlanta player leaving, and he said, "Congrats for escaping the gulag."
Oh, I did not see that. That's some good that's some good online banter there.
So Atlanta fans were like, Atlanta's gone from the jewel of Major League Soccer to a gulag in just a few years.
Yeah, there's something wrong in Atlanta, but obviously they're not really one of the players here. I should mention a team with no hope is DC United. They signed Caden Clark from Montreal for $700,000, and DC United fans are like, why exactly did you do that? He hasn't scored for Montreal this season. I feel for Caden Clark because his career got upended by, I believe he had an appendectomy right around when he was sent to Leipzig. He went to he got purchased by Leipzig and then sent back to MLS on a loan to play for the Red Bulls where he had been playing. There's also a lot around Caden Clark being a Minnesota kid who went to the Barcelona residency in Arizona. Minnesota United were able to get something for his rights despite the fact that he never played for them. It's one of those weird MLS stories. He got hyped up a little bit. He had some nice moments with the Red Bulls. He gets bought by Leipzig. He has an appendectomy. His whole career kind of goes sideways. He ends up coming back to Major League Soccer, and he has played now for Minnesota United, despite everything, ended up there. Now CF Montreal, and now DC United is in next MLS team. He is 22 years old. I mean, he's still just that age. And when you compare Caden Clark to Paxton Aronson, it's very interesting sort of putting those two players next to each other because Paxton Aronson turns 22 next week, and obviously we're going to talk about him here.